So we're in the NB ignition school.
GM crank trigger. Thanks, man. Always wanted something.
Don't say we didn't give you anything.
I won the door prize.
Also want to add on a side note, do not adjust your set. It is smoky in here.
But on your stand, I don't know where we could mount the coil. That's the only thing. So if we wanted to just mount it on mine, we got all the connections on. Unless you want to drill a hole and just mount this on.
There's holes right there. We can drill a hole.
And then all of a sudden, I was trying to sell something. I'm like, oh, someone's going to buy it. I think it was the cap for my.
So think about where we could put it. So on the tractor, you got the seat support right here.
Right.
And what I did is I took a piece of sheet metal and I basically make a little thing that hangs off the seat support. Drill 2 holes in the seat support.
You're also hanging the underside of the dash.
Yes, yes, but that's the key, is that this just has to be mounted somewhere, you know.
Grounded or just mounted?
There's going to be a wire that comes out of here and goes to here and grounds it. Okay. It has to be grounded also. Okay. But, so where can we drill a hole?
Wherever.
Something like this.
You can pop out and back out and maybe get a little flat piece or something.
Yeah. Yeah, if we went down here somewhere, I got upside down. Plug wire's got to go loose.
How does it mount?
There's 2 holes. Yeah, you just got to put a spacer behind a couple bolt or nuts or something.
We just put it right there. One bolt. Right through there.
Yeah, we could do that for now.
Temporarily.
Yeah, that'd work.
Yep.
Clear the throttle linkage that way?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
gonna hit that.
That'd be good there.
Yeah, we could do that.
Perfect.
Yeah. See, Rich must have a drill somewhere.
Okay. Be back after we mount the coil, boys.
70 miles an hour the whole way from my house. 29
All
miles.
the bolts stayed in there. If that was me, the whole pan would have been gone.
Well,
That's awesome.
to be brutally honest, I thought the magnet tray was a neat idea.
Yep.
And I painted this thing shiny black because it was raw steel and I didn't want it to rust. I wanted it to look pretty.
Yeah.
So I painted it and I said, oh wow, I could probably stick this magnet tray stick right under there. I stuck it on there. Paint wasn't dry yet. It won't come off. It's stuck on with paint. Not only is it magnetized, it's painted.
It's painted on too. Painetized.
That's funny.
All right. We'll be back after a short commercial break. And you just start drilling holes.
I figured it would only be appropriate to put a John Deere green gas tank on it. Look at that thing. It's freaking spotless clean inside.
Nice.
Oh yeah, wow.
That was probably on one of those Tecumseh John Deere's.
Yeah, you guys can't see it.
That
Very
never
nice.
ran.
Clean, fresh fuel supply. Hopefully it doesn't leak. I've never put fuel in it yet.
Trial by fire. I like it.
Only way to be, man.
I'll tell you, if I had enough beans last night, could have hooked the hose up and had fuel injection.
I think that burger I had from the place though.
Where'd you go?
Well, I wandered off to look at incoming supplies and they took the coil off. So we got a hole drilled for the coil.
Shorter than what came
Guess
out.
we can mount the coil if we wanted.
You gotta put shorter
ignition switch.
Oh, for the block here.
This thing's a lot thinner than the old one. So, let's see, if you want to, yeah, before we do that.
Here's the bracket that the new trigger mounts to.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. They're on top of the head. Before we mount it, I'm just going to put the trigger on. Do you have the trigger still?
What?
The trigger is in the box still?
Yes. Here we go. Here's the comparison. Original that came out. New replacement.
A little bit shorter.
That one's different.
Yep.
Now, this little get up here, it has two little electronic components in there. One of them.
That's the thing you were saying that keeps it at 0.5 or something.
Yeah. So this trigger makes AC power, just like a stator would, right?
Okay.
We need DC power. So there's a little thing here that turns the AC to DC.
It's called what? A diode?
A diode, yeah. And then there's another one's a rectifier and one's a diode. The diode makes it so the volts don't go over 5 volts.
Okay.
Apparently the ignition thing, if it gets a signal that's more than 5 volts, freaks out. It won't work right.
Okay.
So one makes it DC and then it makes it limited to 5 volts. I didn't figure all this out. I copied it from somewhere. So this just plugs in here, and the ground side goes to this side. And then you take the
Ground side. How do you get the
That's
cut the ground?
yeah. So that's gonna mount under the bolt here that we're mounting the trigger with.
Okay.
Kind of finicky to plug this shit in.
I can see myself having fun with that. I have patience for the little things I need to.
Now eventually, after we know everything works and everything, we can fill this with epoxy. So like, yeah, the guy that I copied this from, he buys a little 3-pack of epoxy at Harbor Freight by the register for $1,
Okay.
and he fills it up with that. Prevent vibrations and stuff like that. So this is going to eventually like just go to ground, and then we're going to put a bolt in here with some spacers to kind of get the right air gap against our pin. So, yep. So if you want to put the bracket on there, just loose for now. Nope. That wire that's extra. What's that? Oh, it's hitting the starter? Why you might have to shave a little off the bottom or something? Take this out. It's weird.
Oh, no, there it goes. Okay.
You had me scared for a minute.
Okay, brackets on.
Alright, so trial and error thing. We got to find out which bolts can be given for the right height.
Huh? Can I sit there for a little bit? No. I'm just kidding. You know, name's kind of shaking. What's your name? I've not seen you before. Jack. Jack. There. It's great to deal with you. Gas. I've seen you out in Tanger for a long time. Are you what the Tanger for? Oh, sure. Tree. Yeah. I got a name out of the name.
Yeah, they're gonna make us get our right air gap on the pin. But we can also move this up and down for it also.
Double adjustment.
And then you can move it side to side and just kind of
Follow me.
timing is off a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see how many. I got 4 spaces in there and then enough. 4.
When you go, nice OBS forward, by the way.
First I grabbed the bolt with the threads are all covered up.
Well, I was too slow on that one, boys, but 830 L, I believe. Is there oil in it? They're all watching the oil pump. I feel like it's 3 hours later and we're in the same place, but
They pulled out? Pulled out? I'm trying to make a habit of everything at least.
I do believe they would call this mild adjustments.
Yes, custom fit.
Custom fab?
Better than Rich and going over there when he had the angle grinder out when he was trying to make the hex shaft fit. Oh, that's pretty too.
See if that gets us where we need to be.
Ah! 37L. So I've now joined the entourage that is watching this. Alright, there's 6 of us. Setting up the air gap, I believe. Make sure it's right. Big fan? Alright guys, so Ralph thinks he's got the air gap set right here.
Magnetic, so when it goes down, it's specific. Just a half inch.
Huh? Hey, over there. That's hot. Huh?
Got clearance.
Alright, now let's see. I took it off. Yeah, my kids.
Okay, now we just need the coil.
And you can see like the oil stains. This wire. Let me get more stuff here.
What you guys missed there, he said it's like a 12-volt coil.
They all on specific pins, so I'm going to put them on the right pins.
But you'll have to write down and explain to me.
Yeah, we'll take a picture of this thing before I guess I've never heard it called that. I was just like a steam maybe a collider.
Wires.
Alright, so take this sucker and oh, we're going to go through the bottom. Hold on. Here, right? Yeah, it might be.
Alright, we're just going to bolt the coil up and we'll come back, guys.
Lay it on the battery system here.
Alright, so what you guys missed, we hooked up the spark plug wire.
There's nothing in there that can be hot all the time, is there?
Hot coil wire.
It's hooked up as the push button.
Okay, so we need to just,
Run it straight to the motor or something.
let's get another, shit, how can we do this?
You want like a pair of...
I have a little bit of wire in the car and I got some 1/4 inch connectors, so we just make a little temporary jumper in there. We can just take a piece of wire and either jam it in here and clamp it in there. Let me go get a couple.
What happens? It shouldn't. It shouldn't be.
Well, I missed it, but we have
It
spark.
looked like it was popping a lot.
Ooh!
Untested fuel tanks. Don't put a lot in it.
There you go, juice. Just
A
said,
little bit. Just a little bit.
especially since we're like right in front of the heater, you know, large open flame. It'll be fine. Let's see if it pours out the bottom first, and then we'll. We're doing good. No large gas leaks.
Chip is on.
Are we good for ignition?
Oh yeah, baby.
Prime it.
Prime for a good time. Even got that on film. Ralph loves his onans. So the carb and the fuel pump is dry, so let's see what happens here.
How am I going to film it? I got other helpers filming. Alright, let's see. So that's idle. Alright, let's, well, you got to turn this key on here. Hold on, you got
Ignition.
I got a little off idle. Alright, go for it. It's totally dry. You know what I mean?
We're gonna need to get the hot shot.
Yeah, it's totally empty. There's nothing in it.
We need a little bit of cocaine for the motor.
Rich has probably got some ether.
You're gonna run the white powder across it.
Yeah.
Start full too high octane. Make it go through.
Just drop a little bit of gas right in.
I thought about it.
Oh, I think you took it back.
Right there in a very fine 60-inch deck.
How do you use this thing?
Have you never used a safety nozzle before?
I don't have any cans like this.
Easy, just a little. Easy. Oh, here we go. Here's how we get. Oh, yeah, that's plenty.
Alright. That'll wet it.
Way too much. Perfect. Take an extra step back.
Hold on. Just crank that over for a minute.
The washer's flying off of it.
Do you know how the needles on the car work?
Try a little choke now.
I'm not 100% positive that fuel pump works.
Yeah.
I took it apart and cleaned it, and working it by hand, I can hear it. But I'm not 100%. Should we lower it down so for gravity?
Yeah, hold on 1 second here. Let me just kind of... It sounded nice when it was running.
Yeah, it did sound good. Yeah.
It's been sitting for a while.
Yep.
I don't know what the setting is. We have to look in your manual.
Say we could eat if Ralph gets this thing running.
Oh, okay. Well, it already ran, so.
Oh, it did already run?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where do you think all the smoke came from? It wasn't the barbecue pit this time.
You want to look in that manual back there and see if it says what the spark or the carb settings are supposed to be?
Coil with a crank trigger.
We're at 1.5. What about the top screw?
Don't know. Didn't touch it.
Well, you're already too late on that. Go with 2.
This doesn't have a freaking notch in it, so you got to really study this.
Yeah, just get it running. If you get it running, then you can get
1-ish,
it.
1.5-ish. That's good. Oh, we can draw a line across it.
Smarter than the average bear.
He's wicked smart.
Smiley face works too, whatever.
It's a shadow. Big shadow.
Phillips head.
Nope.
This will work? That's what he said.
Hold on, let me give it some. Well, other than it not getting fuel, it seems to work really good.
Yeah.
How much you got in here? It's got enough in here.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know if you want to pull the line and see if it's coming through or whatever.
Announcement. I've got a rotary plow and a snow blower right outside this glass bay on a trailer. Anybody interested? I'd like to talk to you about it. Thank you.
I got an announcement too. If anybody has an 810, I have a brand new set of hood decals for it. They can be yours for free if you want them.
You want to make a nice thing about the engine?
The engine? Well, we got Eric's onan NV engine here. It's out of what, a 430?
It came from Grant.
Would have been off of 430. Yeah.
But anyways, we got the replacement GM ignition system on it. You might have heard it run for a minute.
Let's see.
We got no fuel in it, so we got to get the fuel going. But we'll see.
It's on. Going straight gravity feed now. I believe so. Make sure that key's on, Ralph. It's on?
Probably flooded now.
Yeah, now it's flooded. Very nice. Sounds good too. Nice work, guys. Sounds great. I believe it was spring of 2020, April.
2020?
Right when COVID started.
I like the cool.
And obviously it hadn't run for a while before that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This guy over.
So I got 2 brackets here. Pick one.
That's going to be a nice sweet motor. Starts way better than mine.
Started off not an idle, up a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that you fine tune all of it.
Yeah.
You got it running, that's the.
Running
You
through.
use a modern ignition coil and ignition sensor.
Yeah, you wanna go through that, Ralph?
Yeah, this is a GM PC2 crankshaft position sensor.
Okay.
This is a Chevy GM LS2 ignition coil. So basically the way it works, see this little pin right here on the flywheel?
Yep.
Eric, you got the original coil over here? In 1970-ish, plus or minus a little bit, this was the original ignition coil, which has an electronic ignition built in it, which is state-of-the-art for 69 or 70 or whatever they did.
Yep.
Right? Have you ever seen a Sears Suburban tractor? They have Tecumseh engines that have the same thing. It's a little different shape, but it's the same technology. But basically, when that pin passes by this sensor, it creates an electrical pulse, in this case. It's sending 5 volts through this wire over to the coil. The way the modern cars work is that it gets that little pulse, and it tells the computer to make a spark or whatever. This coil has all the electronics in it that control all of that. So literally, think of like a stator where it's making AC power as magnets and it's turning by the magnets. Well, this is just like a stator, but it's making this is making AC power, and it makes maybe 5 or 6 or 7 volts. So in here, there's some diodes and stuff that do 2 things. One, make the AC into DC, because the module needs a DC pulse, not an AC pulse. And there's another one that caps it at 5 volts. So if you had like low RPMs, it would never get over 5 volts, it wouldn't freak out the ignition. But if you were running wide open, just like with a stator, you get more volts. And if say it went up to 7 volts, the ignition would cut out because the electronics in the coil don't know how to handle 7 volts. So if I put in the thing in there that limits it to 5, no matter how fast or slow it goes, it's never going to freak out the ignition. It's kind of cool. So the guy that I got all this from lives like the next town over from me. He's in his mid-80s. He was an electrical engineer, but he was really into Tecumseh engines, or as he calls them, Tecumseh. And
not yet.
he has like a 5-horse Tecumseh engine on a stand in his little workshop. And he has like no piston in it, but it's got a crankshaft and a flywheel. And he's got like a belt pulley on the other side, and he has an electric motor that turns it. So he makes all these things and tests it on this little test engine. He's got like oscilloscopes, all this stuff, and like you see all these things, and I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. But he's who I learned it from. But the first one he did used what's called a GM HEI module, but you had to have a 12-volt coil. So if you go buy a coil, it's 20, 30, 40 bucks. If you had to buy this little module, it's 20, 30, or 40 bucks. And then you had to have a trigger, and that's 20 or 30 or 40 bucks. So he had a lot of money into it. And it didn't work right at the high RPM because it was making too much noise. Right. And then he made another module that used the Chrysler edition module from the 80s. And it's a big box, it's like this big. And it works, but it's clunky and it's big, and you need to have a spot to put it. So what I did in the 400 series, you got the seat support going across here normally. I drilled 2 holes in the seat support, and I put 2 little like angle iron brackets, and I took a piece of sheet metal, maybe this big, and I let it angle up those brackets here, and I would mount the coil and all the stuff on the bracket. This new thing is only 20 bucks for this coil. I think I paid 10 bucks or so for the trigger, rock auto. So there's like
$70 for the plug wire.
yeah, so there's like maybe 40 to 50 bucks in the whole thing. I had to buy the diode. It was like a 50 pack. It was like $8. It's not too bad, you know. But this is the second one that I built, and it's the only one that's actually operated off a gas tank. I made this sort of stand for money on a Harbor Freight dollies. I just bolt the engine onto the front. On an NV, there's no bolts on the bottom of the oil pan like there is with a coil. So there's no way to mount up the engine unless you go into the 4 bolts like you're bolting it to a transmission. The air extender here is awesome for that. You can put a Kohler in there too, doing the same deal, right? Or an onan.
Yeah. The holes are going to be in the same location, yeah.
With a matter of drilling a couple more holes, you can probably put a hole behind it.
Pretty cool. Yeah. So anyways, like that's the deal. And
I had an old engine adapter plate when you walk behind.
Yeah.
I took it down to the weld shop and I said, here, make me a stand that fits this pattern.
I've got
Yeah.
the adapter plate up for my car. You can see if it's the same pattern.
what I did here is I figured out what this angle was. I think it's 40 degrees, I don't remember. I took a piece of wood, I took a 2x3, ripped it on my table saw to that angle. And then I figured out how to make these little brackets. The original one is 2 different size holes. It allows you some adjustment like this to get your air gap on the trigger on. So it pivots on the little one and you can have a little adjustment. And you saw me like filing all this stuff before. What I did is we put the factory module on there and lined up the pin to it. There's no timing marks on here to tell you anything. There's marks over here on this cover, but there's no reference on the flywheel anywhere to match with those marks, which is kind of weird. So if they tell you that the timing is at 20 degrees before top dead center or whatever, you don't know when you're there because there's no mark to reference to. So it sounded like it was running really good. I wouldn't touch it at all. But like conceptually, if it's off of here, I tried to make this slot so you can slide it left or right to adjust it a little bit.
So moving this will adjust your timing.
Yeah, like
Not
this way. Yep. The air gap also matters. We did 8,000ths on the air gap. It seems to be working good. I'm not going to say to change anything. But so I took that piece of wood and I basically clamped this on there, put this on the top and just ran a little weld down there. A little weld on the back and make these little brackets. What I was doing before is this hole I didn't really cut scientifically enough. So it had to go back more. So I took a file and just made it a little deeper. We were able to get that module back. It was not lining up with the pin right. It was off like half the diameter of the pin or something. So that's kind of the deal. Then I just put some little washers in here, spacers, so we could try to get close to the air gap. And when you're close, I just had it laying right on there. This is magnetic on the bottom, it sticks right to it. So we just put a feeler gauge in there and you can lift it up this way. You tighten the bolts on the side with the feeler gauge in there, pull the gauge out and you're good. You know? It's kind of cool.
So you soldered these diodes into the